Now we're moving on to the second part of making our mug, which is making the handle. It's called pulling a handle. The way we start is we get 1 pound of clay. Then I plug it up in these chunks for you, so you need to pound it into a teardrop shape. There, nice teardrop shape. Now, if you notice, I'm holding it like this. At some point, I'll be turning it around to hold it like this. Got a nice teardrop shape like this. I'm left-handed, but I hold with my left hand and pull with my right. Some people flip it the other way around. You just got to try it. Now, if you notice, my hand is an asymmetrical shape. So as I'm pulling the clay, I will turn the clay so my handle comes out the same on both sides, so it's symmetrical. Now, this is one of those operations best done wearing an apron. It gets a little messy. So I've got a bucket with about 1 gallon of water in it. I'm going to dip my clay in, dip my hand in, and then I'm going to start pulling down. Now, you want to try and pull, squeezing uniformly. See how I turn that around? And as it gets longer, I'm using the shape, the hold of my hand to shape my handle. I'm not a big fan of skinny handles. I like something you can get a hold of, as evidenced by my mug handle. And notice how it keeps getting longer, but then I turn it around. If it starts to feel dry, I dip my hand in the clay and the water. Keep pulling it down. Water is your friend on this one. Oh, I developed a weak spot. So that means I start over. Pull it down. Keep changing the position so it becomes symmetrical. Squeezing the clay from the top all the way to the bottom. Then, when it gets long enough, I lay it across this board, put my thumb here, and then I cut down. And that's how you make a handle. Now, handles, since they're handmade, you can do something really kind of cool. What I usually do is I dip my finger in the water, and I will make a little thumb rest for all my mug handles. A lot of times people won't even see your thumb rest, but when they pick up their mug, they'll feel it, and they just kind of like it. Give me 1 second to do these guys. There we go. Now I'm going to pull probably the rest of this clay. I usually pull twice as many handles as I need for mugs. I'll end up with about 6 mugs today. I'll probably end up with 10 or more handles, and that way I can pick the best handle to fit the best mug. And the handles are shorter than this board. That's why I always pull the length of the board, because I'm going to trim them off. We're going to have to let the mugs and the handles set up for 8 to 12 hours. You keep checking them because they have to be about the same moisture content to put them together. If the handles, which they usually do, start to dry out sooner, then we'll wrap the handles in, I just use trash bags to keep them nice and soft until the mug body dries out enough that they're the same moisture content. And that's where we will come back to put the two together. I did these handles and the mugs all before 2 o'clock. It's now 8 o'clock. The handles have all set up perfectly, but they're starting to dry out too much. So I'm going to take the handles and I'm going to seal them in plastic to stop them from drying out. Just keep them all in here. Just like that. And then I'm going to give them a little spritz of water. And seal them up like this. the air get out. And then take the ends, just seal it up, just like that. Then I'm going to take a wear board, put it right here, and these mugs have set up nicely, but they still need to dry a little bit more. So I'm going to take a wire, and cut the mug off the bat. It's still very soft. And if you notice, see that edge there? They call it thumbing. I'm going to take my thumb and just go around and round the bottom of that off just a little bit. Then I'm going to take and put the mugs on the wear board. And then they will go into the wet rack over here to slow their drying down, because they need to dry just a little bit more, but not too much, until we tomorrow put the handles on the mugs. Okay, good morning. The pots have set overnight in the wet cabinet. They've set up so that now we can handling them without damaging them. I've already been putting handles on mugs. The way I do it is I use a just 3-gallon bucket and a bat, because it makes it handy to hold the pot to the right height. Then the handles I've had wrapped up in plastic because they were starting to dry out too fast. And I just kind of look and pick a handle that I think will look nice on a mug. Then cover the handles back up. If they start to dry out too much, just give them a little spritz, cover them back up. Now, we took the handle we made last night. First thing we do is kind of fit it where we think it's going to go. I think right here. It's going to fit right there on that shoulder. I usually try and put my handles on a shoulder. Some models I put them up at the lip, but most of the time I like to do the shoulder. I think it looks nice. Then I'm going to take and mold this. Okay, I've got my little thumb rest there to the shape that I think it's going to work well. Then I outline with a potter's needle where the handle's going to hook in. Then I take and I score the end of the handle. And you want to score, this is the major joint, so you want to make sure you get this attached really well, because not only is it going to hold the weight of the vessel, but it's going to hold the weight of the liquid in the vessel. Then anything like that, I just drop, which will go in the recycling bucket, and come here, and I score the side of the pot up. Just like that. And I take my handle, it's going to fit like that, and I just take one finger and drop the water on. That's all you need for this joint. Then I take it, support the inside of the pot, bless you, push it down till the water starts to squeeze out. Then I take and smooth the handle to the outside of the pot. Smooth the underside, the outside, just like that. Then I need to freshen the handle up so that it's easier to move. So I dip it down in the bucket. Because we're going to have to bend this a whole lot. And you have to support that. Bring it up. I'm going to bend it down. Kind of the shape I want. Usually kind of measure it just a little, just about like that, for either 2 or 3 fingers. Then you look to make sure the handle is straight on the pot this way. Then for the bottom, you support the inside and I just take and mush it down like that and smooth it. And that's how you do the bottom. Then that little tail, I just hold the pot, and you can't be wimpy on this, you just, oops, pull it off. Hopefully better than that. But we will smooth that down. See if we can't put that back together. All right. Smooth that off. Then we look, make sure the handle is straight. Then I take the potter's needle, smooth the top of the handle into the body of the mug. Make sure, not too bad. There we go. Then I take the mug over. And my last step is I'm going to take my stamp and I support the inside. I'm going to take and put my stamp on here. Just nice and easy. Rock it back and forth. Okay, and then I'm going to put it down. Make sure that's nice and flat. And then you always turn your mugs upside down to dry. It also keeps your handles from slumping. And that's how you put a handle on a mug.